Exciting story of survival on the water.
After being lost at sea for 4 days, 2 men have found their way home. Good afternoon. I'm Keely Fulton.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Lauren Lapenzina. News Channel 5 was the first to tell you about this boat in Boca Raton that came ashore this morning. 2 men on it alive after spending several days in the water.
We have live team coverage for you this midday of where the 2 men washed ashore. News Channel 5's Marissa Bagg is standing by at the hospital where these boaters are being treated for dehydration. But let's begin our team coverage with News Channel 5's Ashley Walters, who is live at the Boca Raton beach where the men met rescuers. And Ashley, this is truly seems like something out of a movie.
It sure does, Keely. And police have now hauled away the boat that became the survival tool for the 2 men who spent several days inside of it. And now police and rescuers were actually the first to hear their incredible story when they came on shore here in Boca Raton. Small boat, about 9 feet long, carried to shore 2 men this morning and their story of survival.
They obviously had been out on the water for several days, which is what they told us.
The 2 men, believed to be American, told rescuers that they started their journey in the Florida Keys 4 days ago. Soon after, they say, their boat sank and they were left with only a small rescue vessel.
So it's a small, I would say 8 to 10 foot little dinghy type boat. There's not much to it.
What remains in its metal sides are the remnants of its journey: a fishing pole, buckets, rope, oars, and packages of cookies and crackers.
So when it does happen, you know, it's kind of exciting for everybody. We're just glad that the outcome was good, that both people made it ashore, and that they seem to be okay. So that's our concern.
Now police and fire crews are left to validate the story of 2 men trapped at sea who found their way to Boca Raton. Boca Raton police tell us that they are currently in touch with the Coast Guard and also Border Patrol, and anybody with information should contact authorities. And now we want to turn things over with our team coverage to Marissa Bagg, who's actually at the Boca Raton Hospital. Hey there, Marissa.
Actually, really good news to report here from the hospital. Both of these men are listed in good condition and they're in good spirits at this hour. After what they've been through over the last few days, they're really just thrilled to be alive and now happy to be able to get some good rest after trying to row to safety. Now, we did talk to one of the men. He's the one who owned the boat, 46-year-old Michael Ayers. It was a 41-foot Hatteras that they were on. He says that he hired a deckhand, another man in his 20s, to try to help pick up some heavy boat parts from the Bahamas. The 2 of them left Isla Morada Saturday right around noon and headed for Bimini. About 2/3 of the way there, Ayers tells us that his boat hit some debris in the water and it pierced the hull of that Hatteras boat. And despite efforts to try and bail out, the boat continued to sink pretty quickly. And Ayers described the moment that he realized their only hope was to jump into their dinghy.
Most awful thing I've ever seen was when the engines and everything came awash. And there was just this gurgling of water in the boat. And I sat down in the bilge because I was trying to work these things, jury rigged, trying to get things fixed. And I just sat there and it was just all of a sudden you realize this is not coming out of this. We have to abandon this ship. And I'm still so wound up. The fight or flight instinct in humans is pretty strong. And I think the adrenaline really kicked in and my body was not going to give up till it was done.
And Ayers tells us that the seas were so rough that they were really nauseous, couldn't really eat anything over those days, but they did survive on a few gallons of water they were able to grab. They did suffer hypothermia, exposure, and dehydration, although they had to keep rowing through all that to not get swept out to sea. Now, they didn't really think they were going to survive. In fact, Ayers was pretty emotional about it when I just spoke with him about an hour ago, and he said, quote, "If I was a betting man, I would have bet against it." Now, of course, both men are safe at this hour inside the hospital. We did talk to their doctor about their condition and what kind of treatment they're getting, and we'll have more on that tonight at 5 o'clock. Reporting live in Boca Raton, Marissa Bagg, WPTV News Channel 5.